It looks like we had the
Hello,
same weather as
everyone.
well.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. Sorry, we're a little bit late, but we're here. We're both having Wi-Fi fun, and I know I see the comments. So many of you are already on, and you're excited. And as you can see, I have a super special guy on this morning, green juice and all. The rest of us are drinking coffee, but not Adam. Oh, you got coffee too? Oh my gosh. All right. So, good morning, everyone. We're talking about your message. And this morning, I have the pleasure of sharing this time with you with my friend, my mentor. Oh my gosh. My brain is going, calm down, Tasha, calm down. This is just a treat. Obviously, for those of you that know me, you know Adam's my mentor, but there's so many new people in our community. So give me the chance to introduce the one and only international best-selling author, international keynote speaker, Mr. Adam Markel, who has been my guide. Year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I decided I really wanted to work on building my platform and sharing my message. And the universe, the gods, the angels, all of it aligned so that Adam and I sat at a table, a mastermind table at lunch at an event, and the rest is history. I'm really grateful. I want you to think of this as sitting at the feet of a master. So, Adam, say hello to everyone.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Tasha, thank you so much for inviting me to come and spend a little time with your community. And we'll have a little fun and learn some things and have some maybe a little Q&A. We'll see what we can do. But let's first start with a story because we're all kids at heart and we all love stories. So buckle up. Here we go. 3 whistles rang out, and I knew what that meant. 3 whistles on the beach meant someone was missing. I was 19 years old. I was a lifeguard, and 3 whistles meant someone was missing. I ran down to the main stand, and the captain of our field shouted the order. They lost someone at field 3. It's a search and rescue. Go. 10 of us ran down the field to join the search team. There was already a crowd. People were pointing to where they last saw the missing swimmer. We dove into the ocean. We swam out past the breakers. And when we got there, we formed a straight line perpendicular to the shore, and we started our search pattern. We dove down into the cold, dark Atlantic Ocean, about 10 feet, and we swam into the current, and we came straight up for air. And when everyone's head popped up, we repeated that process over and over and over again. We were exhausted. We were cold, but we didn't come in. After more than an hour, I heard that whistle again. It was an awful feeling. We weren't done. We hadn't found him. We got out of the water. We ran back to our field. And the captain led us in a moment of silence. And when we opened our eyes, he looked at each of us and he said, no one goes down on our watch. At this field, no one goes down in our water. And then he said something that I will never forget. You either make the save or you die trying. Just a little intense, huh? That was the story that I told at the start of my TED Talk. And stories are one of the most important ways that we can communicate with people. It's one of the most important ways that you can share your message with the world, that you can share your message with a wider group of people that need to hear your message right now. And right now, it's one of the most important times to actually get great at sharing your message. So today, what I wanted to do is to kind of deconstruct an element of how it is that you craft a really impeccable story. And that could be for a TED Talk. It could be for a Facebook Live. It could be for a YPO workshop, virtual training. It doesn't matter what it is. We've got to become great at the art of storytelling. And we've also got to understand that every great story has a certain structure to it. So the structure that we're going to teach you today is called the 3 C's. The first C stands for context. So it doesn't matter what kind of a training, what kind of a talk that you're going to give, you've got to set a context. Even when it comes to kids, like my wife and I, we are married in just about a week. We'll be married 31 years, which is utterly surreal. And we have 4 amazing children ranging in ages from 28 to 19. And from the time that they were very, very little, they always wanted to know why. I don't know if you were that kind of kid as well, but they wanted to know why. Why do we have to brush our teeth? Why do we have to go to sleep? Why do we have to do our homework? It's all that kind of stuff, right? But when you explain why, what you're doing is you're providing a context. So in any great story, you've got to provide a context. You could think of the context as like the W-4. Now, I don't mean the kind of W-4 that we fill out, that form to get taxed in the United States. This is simply the where, the when, the who, and the what. And so if you can provide those details at the very beginning, you provide your origin story. Like I just told you, I'm sharing a story from when I was just 19 years old and I was a lifeguard. And I learned so much that summer at the beach. I learned so much about resilience. I learned so much about leadership. I learned so much about my own personal will to see that no one ever goes down on my watch ever again. And as a footnote to that story, I'll just say for 7 summers that I worked at that really busy ocean beach, we never lost anyone again. No one ever went down on our watch again. So you start with context and you set the scene. That's the first C. The second C is that you deal in some way with conflict. And I know this is something that most people try to avoid in crafting a talk, in crafting a story. They don't want to really talk about what other people might think doesn't work, or they don't want to necessarily meet the naysayers or the skeptics. They want to sort of avoid them. Really what it's saying is that you'd prefer to preach to the choir, speak to the choir, the people that already believe what you believe. But there's nothing transformational in that. The true transformation, the real great opportunity to grow a global audience, to reach more people, to have a bigger impact in the world, is to actually speak to those folks that might not agree with you, that might even be oblivious to the message that you're trying to share, or actively believe something differently than you do. So that conflict piece is like bringing up your dark night of the soul. So later on in my TED Talk, I talk about how from that moment when I was just 19 years old, I started to see the world through this lens of guarding. That instead of living my life with a certain amount of grace, I was living my life on guard all the time, and that it was depleting my energy. It was kind of bringing me into a place where I didn't feel like I was leading with my heart, all that kind of thing. And I had one particular night where it was really, really challenging for me to even believe that I was on the right path. And I think we've all experienced that before. So when you think about conflict, I want you to think about what the naysayers might say and how it is that you address those arguments. I was a lawyer for 18 years. Before I reinvented my career. I wrote a book called Pivot, which is all about the reinvention of career and life and that kind of thing. And at that point in time, it was really, really difficult for me. And I could have avoided sharing sort of those difficult moments with my audience, but I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to be vulnerable because I knew that people that were in that same position, that have ever felt what I was feeling, it would resonate with them. We would be more connected. So you got to really lean in, is my advice, to that conflict piece, your own personal inner turmoil, your own inner conflict, as well as the conflict that you might feel from outside of yourself. That's the second C. The third C is continuity. And I would say that Tasha she's a master at this. In fact, I love watching her do this because she's created this beautiful community for so many years. Her and her partner, Diane, have just created community, have allowed people an opportunity to not only work on themselves and to be able to lead and be a leader and a guide for them, but she's provided a very simple system for how to follow through, how to get that support ongoingly. You've got to do the same thing when you're crafting a TED Talk or any other high stakes talk. Doesn't matter what it is. You've got to show people how they can continue, what they can actually do with the information that you've provided. Otherwise, it's just interesting, but it doesn't transform anything. It doesn't provide an opportunity for transformation for them. So continuity is about how it is that you take a step forward. It's the call to action, in other words. Now, when it comes to TED, and we can talk a little bit about that as well, There's no sort of selling anything. There's no promoting anything. So when I say call to action, I don't really mean like this is something that you should do. It's a question that you pose to the audience. It's a what if. It's an imagine that. It's an opportunity for them to take what you've shared, this one idea, and help them to develop it in their own lives. So again, to review, the 3 C's in constructing a TED Talk or any other high stakes talk: start with a story. Make sure that you set a context, that you
Adam,
the conflict, and that you make sure that you've also
Adam,
provided for
one
continuity.
quick
Tasha,
one quick second, Adam, because I'm seeing, yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing someone commented that there's no sound. So, especially now that you're gonna recap, I just want to make sure, can some people just put in the comments and let us know if you've been hearing us? Okay. Okay, great.
Is that a yes?
Deanna has sound. We're good. We're good. Because if you went through that recap with no sound, that wouldn't be good. Okay, great. I'm
No.
sorry, Adam. I
Okay.
just really
No, no,
wanted
no.
to
It's
make
all
sure
great.
everyone. And before you go into the recap, I just wanted to say that my working with you on the 3 C's. I mean, I had been a speaker, I've been speaking for 5 years, and context, no. It was just like, just stand and tell a great story. Who can't do that, right? But understanding context was key, but really conflict, like being challenged to go there, not just preach, preach and tell the feel good story, but really go into bringing up your own internal conflict and being willing, like Brene Brown
Mm,
says, to enter the ring and be vulnerable and speak to people. I found for me that was really key in connecting even more deeply with the audience. And so I'm really grateful that you're sharing this, because like you said, there's no better time than now to be sharing our message. And I think so many people are hopping on Facebook and just talking,
yep.
with the best intention, because they know, they're sensing this is the time to be sharing their message. So I hope that you're all okay. Great. Everyone's like, we have it, we have it. They're putting in the 3 C's. We're hearing great. So, so I
You
just
know what? If
wanted to
you've got
share a little bit with
questions,
you guys, how.
can you still hear me?
Oops, I lost you, Adam.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
go
got it.
ahead.
Oh, great. No, I was going to
No,
say,
I
if
can hear
there
you. Got
You
it. Yeah.
can? Terrific. So if there are questions and you can see those coming in, that's terrific. I want to share just 2 other things relative to how this is a structure that you can use for anything. The first thing is that, so you've got this, any talk that you want to construct, any script that you want to create, you think about these 3 C's. As long as you set a context, you address some conflict. When I was a lawyer, that was one of the things that was most difficult, was to actually address the part of our case that the other side, was going to try to exploit. So you sort of raise the objections, is how we used to call it, before your adversary would do that, or before the judge would do that. So it's the same thing in conflict, is you bring up that sort of thing where other people are going to be sitting back and going, I'm just not getting that. I'm not buying that. So the skeptics, in other words, you speak to them. You can even speak, as you said, Tasha, to your own
Mm.
internal skeptic. As Brene Brown said, vulnerability is strength, and this is a perfect opportunity for you to be vulnerable in a way that's also strong. It's also it is leading other people through your example, and it's also where you connect to people. So that conflict piece is super key. And the third piece that we were just talking about is continuity, and this is how you lead them to a better day. So if there are questions about those 3 C's, go ahead and put them in the chat now while I share 2 other things. One is that you've got to create a through line. So, for example, we've been working on a new speaker reel that we call a movie trailer demo reel, something that's really, really exciting. We're just finishing it up, several months in the process of creating this thing. And we had a through line that we're actually looking at 2 through lines. And the through line, by the way, is simply your main idea. So with any talk, no matter what length, you've got to have a through line. So our speaker reel is only 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. You think, oh my God, how do you set context and conflict and continuity in such a short amount of time? And how do you create a through line? Our through line was Resilient teams change the world. That was one through line. And the other through line was you've got to develop resilience before you need it. That was it. So in any talk, you've got to decide what's the main idea. In fact, with TED, as you know, they have a mantra. Their mantra is it's an idea worth spreading. I know for Tasha's TED Talk, she's going to actually call into question this whole concept of that mantra, the worthiness component of it. Tasha, if you can't hear me still, just let me know because your screen just went off. All right, but I'll keep going. So you've got to create a through line for your talk, and you've also got to develop the elements of that talk. So what are some of the elements? Well, we spoke about one of them. That is story. Another element is research. So if you've done some research, if there are case studies, if there are people that you've worked with over the years, then you can share those case studies or that research. You can use examples from elsewhere in the world, stories that aren't necessarily even your own, but stories that you're retelling. You can use what if statements, meaning that you're asking questions that start with what if, or questions that start with imagine if. And so those are some of the ways that you develop the story or you develop the through line so that you can drive home that one singular point. But again, 3 C's: create a context, address the conflict, and make sure you've got something that provides continuity to the people that you're speaking to. So Tasha, do you have some questions that have come up in the chat about either how to get on a TED stage or how to create a script for a TED or any other high stakes talk?
So, Adam, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Haven't heard a word you said for
God.
the last 10 minutes. But everyone else seems to be able to be hearing you. So that's great.
Even better.
We can hear you, Tasha. Okay. And people are commenting. We cannot see Tasha. And then Deanna is still responding. So I'm assuming that they all heard you.
Well, you know what?
Asking if we have
I've got
questions.
some great news. So
we can hear you both. So
you
perfect.
can hear us both.
I can't hear you, Adam, but everyone can hear you.
So everyone, tell Tasha.
And they can hear me. I can hear you both. Sarah, mwah, thank you. So Adam, you just do what you do.
Well, here's the thing.
I really want to make sure that you, I'm not sure if you've said this yet because I can't hear you, but I would love for you to give everyone the opportunity to join your upcoming masterclass that you have coming up. So I have posted the link in the description to this video, and I've asked Diane to post a link because I really want you guys to have the opportunity to go way deeper with this conversation. And I know for me, creating my TED Talk, which is my high stakes talk, right, has been working on my TED Talk. I have used the 3 C's and I've been on this training with Adam and it's really pushed me. And you guys know, I mean, I've made a living speaking for the last 7-8 years. So I know what it will do for all of you. So Adam, can't hear you, but talk.
I'm just going to keep talking, right? Nobody can hear. All right, beautiful. So first of all, if you want to get slides that go along with this process, so meaning we covered the 3 C's, we're talking about how you create a through line. This is good for any kind of a talk that you want to create, but really we're talking about a high stakes talk, some kind of a talk where you'd have the ability to impact many, many people's lives, whether it's standing on a TED stage or it's delivering to an audience of people in a business context or pretty much anywhere at any time. The slides are yours as our gift. All you have to do is email team@adammarkel.com, team@adammarkel.com, and we will give you the slides to this entire presentation, which is a pretty robust, I think, support system for you to create and craft any new talk. So that's the first thing. Secondly, we've got a virtual training that we call Get TED Ready. So anybody that's ever wanted to get on a TED stage, we've worked with thousands and thousands of people for many, many years. I'm doing this work for more than 10 years now at this point. And anybody that wants to deliver a keynote talk, wants to get paid to talk, wants to stand on a TED stage in 2021. And by the way, that's a question that sometimes we get is, are there going to be TED Talks? Are there currently TED Talks? And the answer is yes to both. There are currently TED Talks that are going on, meaning they're delivering those TED Talks virtually, and there are going to be TED Talks in 2021 and beyond all over the globe. So if you're somebody that's ever had it on your bucket list to deliver a TED Talk, then the simple thing is you can email us at team@adammarkel.com, and we can make time, a 20-minute ideation session for just us. So meaning, if you want to think about what that idea is, or you want to run the idea past me, that's one of my I guess it's a genius zone, it's a core competency, whatever you want to call it, is that in 20 to 30 minutes, I can help people to flesh out that idea, to determine whether it's an idea that's really something that they are feeling called to share now, or whether it's something maybe for the future. So the ideation session is our gift to you. So two things that we want to gift to Tasha and to Diane, to your beautiful community, that is that you can get the slides from today's presentation. So the 3 C's, the through line, how to construct the elements of the talk, all of that. And you just go to email team@adammarkel for that. And if you'd like to get an ideation session with me personally, I don't know how many people are on right now. So I've got to, at least, I was a lawyer. I've got to do the caveat thing, the little asterisk here, because maybe there's 100, 200, 300. I don't know how many people are watching this, but I'll be able to work with 15 people over the next month, let's say. So the first 15 people that email team@adammarkel.com, you'll be able to get an ideation session with me personally. If for any reason you can't get with me personally because it exceeds that number, don't worry. We have a full team of people they're brilliant. They're more brilliant than I am. So don't be bummed out if that happens. But team@adammarkel.com to get that ideation session or to get the slides. And I'll say this as well. Right now, getting yourself prepared to deliver a talk, especially a TED Talk, is more important than it's ever been. Our world is in a state where change is not just constant, it's pandemic. And I'm using that word specifically because people don't respond well to change often. And we all need tremendous inspiration and motivation even right now. So if you're somebody that has something important to say, a message to share with the world, it's even more important now that you share that message with more people. So I really would love for you to do that. If you want to find out more about how to get into our virtual training, all you have to do is go to adammarkel.com/get TED ready. I'll just repeat that one more time, and we can put all this information in the chat as well. I hope that's what's happening. I'm sure Deanna from our team is doing that, or Randy is doing that, but it's adammarkel.com/get TED ready. And you can read the testimonials and watch videos of people, students of ours who've given TED Talks and all that kind of stuff to find out whether or not right now is the perfect time for you to get involved in delivering a high stakes talk, especially a TED Talk. So if there are more questions right now, I'm happy to answer them while we still have a couple of minutes. Happy to do that as well.
Okay. So it looks like you paused. I tell you what, this is a whole other way to watch you speak. I can't hear a word. Yeah, no, I'm reading your lips. I'm like pretty impressed at how good I'm doing with that. So listen, everyone, I love what Deanna said. You know, it doesn't matter if you're wanting to do a TED Talk or just talk to your neighbors. I've literally read people's posts on Facebook where they're sharing their message or their story, and it's created such an impact for me. I know. Oh, I love it. Everyone, when you cannot hear, you're a master. Ooh, thank you. I I made Adam wake up at 8 a.m. Yes, he's, like he's always applauding me. You do a Facebook Live on a Monday morning at 8 a.m. He's always going, you're committed. You must really love your people. And I've always thought to myself, there'll be a day when I'm going to make you wake up at 8 a.m. And so today is that day. And, wouldn't just be for any old reason. I also truly believe that this experience that we've all gone through globally, I believe with all my heart, is for the higher good. And I know if you're like me, you've just been going through the fields and processing and really recognizing and evaluating your life and realizing that there's so much that you've been through that could help someone else. that could make the world a better place, make someone else's life better, make it easier, make the path just, I read a Facebook post this morning and I literally was in tears because I just felt someone was sharing about her relationship experience and I felt so understood.
Mm.
And that moment was everything to me. So for all of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, Deanna has posted, for you to send their team an email. So it's team at Adam Markel. And if you do nothing else, get the handout that will help you just structure your message in the way that Adam shared this morning. And beyond that, it would bring me so much joy to know that you're all signed up for the masterclass. There's a link provided everywhere, that you're all signed up for the masterclass and just working on your message too. All right, lots of thank yous. Mwah.
Everybody. Hey, what?
Okay, lots of
One
people
second.
saying I doubt
One
it.
second.
Adam, you're doing something. I think you're saying bye.
One second. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mwah. Oh, you want to say one other thing?
I always
Ah!
so I have one ritual that is my waking ritual, and years ago when I was really in a kind of a rough place internally, I found something that helped me. So Tasha just brought up we're all, the world is in a place we've never experienced before, and right now more than anything, we've got to all of us be able to be at our very best for ourselves and for others. And so when I was in that state years and years ago, I found one thing that helped me to start the day. One ritual which I want to share with you right now, which is the waking ritual. So the first piece of that waking ritual is that we all get to wake up. So how many of you right now, how many of you woke up? Go ahead, chat. Yes, you woke up today. I'm I'm still in the process of waking up, yeah. But when I went to sleep last night, it was not guaranteed that we would get to wake up today. So waking up is a blessing. And so every day that we get to wake up, we get to take a moment and just breathe and be grateful. And so regardless of the things that are challenging us, I lost one of my dearest friends in the entire world. I lost last week to COVID-19. So we all have hardship. We all understand what it's like, whether it's in your business and in some other area of your life. But yet when we're given another day, it's a blessing. So wake up. That's number one. Two, be grateful. Find something you can be grateful for at the very start of the day. The first thoughts that you think can be thoughts of gratitude. And lastly, third, that you could say words out loud that make you feel good, that make you feel like you want to feel. And the four words that I say every day when I wake up are, I love my life. I love my life. That's what my TED Talk was about. Four simple words that can change the way you start your day and help you even when things don't go well. So, Tasha, thank you so much. Diane, thank you so much for having me and for allowing me to speak to your community. Mwah. Blessings to all of you.
Ah!
Okay, bye
So
bye.
here's what I know. Adam took his glasses off. He got really red. It was really intense. He was talking about waking up and being grateful. And my absolute favorite, I love my life. Mwah. I love you guys. Thanks everyone for being on. Thank you, Adam. Have a great day.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.